but I am obliged to. Ivana, good morning.
Hello, good morning, Neil. How are you?
Quite worried about this whole thing, I have to say, just as much as I was last year when I last looked at this HPV vaccine. What are your thoughts?
Yes, my 14-year-old daughter is one of the girls that's been very badly affected by it, and she suffers from all of the symptoms that were mentioned earlier on, and in fact is taking, just as Michael O'Doherty described, so many medications, including antidepressants and sleeping pills, apart from antibiotics, thyroid medication, contraceptive pill, Diclac painkillers. The list is endless.
And she's only 14.
14, yes. Her life has been ruined. She's bedridden. She suffers from this chronic fatigue. She hasn't attended school since last September hardly. And the days that she does go into school, maybe for a half day, she'd be straight home and into bed, and she would be asleep for the whole rest of the day and take a day to recover.
Now, it is a terrible cross for her to bear, but let me ask you about yourself for a moment. How upsetting is it for a parent to have to look on at this?
Neil, I can't tell you how devastating it is. It's devastating. Sometimes you look into their bedroom in the morning or in the afternoon, whatever time you go in to look at them, and sometimes I think she's dead when I look at her. She's grey in the face. There's hardly any breathing. As your earlier guest who said his daughter fainted in school and they had no pulse for her, and she wasn't breathing and she was rushed to hospital. So sometimes their breathing is so shallow and their pallor is just grey, and it's a devastating for a parent.
Do you feel an element of guilt or responsibility for your daughter's condition?
Of course I do, yes. I mean, I agreed for her to have this vaccine, and she's had all the childhood vaccines along the way that we all give to our children, and but this Gardasil one, I had no idea of the side effects of it when I agreed to it when she went into first year, and we were led to believe that it was harm. Well, there weren't very few side effects from the little leaflet I got home from school, and it wasn't until I saw the documentary on television before Christmas that I realised that all the girls in this documentary were showing the same symptoms that I'd experienced with my daughter, and had brought her many times to the doctors, and each symptom was treated separately as a different issue. And it was only when I saw the documentary and realised that, oh yes, this is exactly what's going on with my daughter, and it's very hard to put them all together because there's so many different symptoms, so many different things go wrong. One, they might have a good day, and the next day their whole system crashes and they can't get out of the bed. Constant fainting, anxiety, the list is just endless.
Yeah, I'll go through some more of the side effects as are listed by regret.ie. However, did you notice a very marked and pronounced and immediate change in her personality the days after the vaccine? And if so, was it the first dose, second dose, third dose, or what?
Neil, I noticed, straight away she had flu-like symptoms, and they were to be expected as they are with very many vaccines. So we treated that as you do with paracetamol and all the rest, and she had very localised swelling in the arm and very painful arm. But we weren't overly concerned. But within 2 weeks of the vaccine, she had tightness in the heart, she had constricted breathing, she felt like she was having a heart attack. And it happened especially at night time when she was trying to go to sleep, so it wasn't after physical exertion, and this was very worrying. So we went to the doctor. That was within 2 weeks of the first vaccine, and that was put down to anxiety, as often is the case with this can often start out as showing to be something that's to do with anxiety, and then all the physiological problems come in, the fainting and As we eventually found out, we went to this Dr. Lambert, as you've heard mention, after having tests, a lot of other tests, but Dr. Lambert sent the bloods abroad and found that she has very low lymphocytes, which means her whole immune system is completely shot. So,
now, was it shot before the vaccine, or was it shot?
No, like all the other children that were mentioned, my daughter was very active, very outgoing, great sports, and danced all her weekends where she was involved in a dance school. She'd spend the day from 10 o'clock till 6 p.m. at dance classes. She can't get out of the bed now.
10 a.m. to 6 p.m. dancing?
Yeah. She'd be helping with the juniors dancing, and then go on right through, have a lunch break and dance all day till the dance school closed.
And that all halted?
Stopped right away.
Did you go back?
She can't go to school. As I say, she went for a half day last week, and she was in bed immediately. By 2 o'clock she was in bed, and she was into a deep sleep, comatose sleep, for the rest of the day and the following day.
And does she talk to you about why and ask what's going on?
She knows there's another girl in her school who has the exact same symptoms, so they would have had the same batch. And she's in close contact with her, as I am with her mother. So they would have had the same batch, and obviously obviously not every child has a propensity to have the bad reaction. So some children, obviously, there's something in their makeup that causes them to have all this reaction. Michael O'Doherty seems to have a good grasp or a handle on it, and I have actually spoken to him about my daughter and hope to come and see him soon, because, as I say, we've tried everything.
Now, there are those, say, who'd be looking on here, perhaps might say, it's just purely coincidental, and it was an issue of it just happened to be the timing, but not the actual vaccine.
Well, as I say, Michael raised the question this morning, and it's so simple. And so, why are all these girls ill? That's the simple question. It's becoming an epidemic, and until the HSE help us to get a database of all these girls' symptoms and help us, because we're each individual trying to fight it, and we need to have assistance from the HSE, and so that everyone can share their experience. And only for the regret group, some of us would still be completely in the dark as to what's happening to us.
Did you halt? She didn't go on to take the second jab, no?
Oh, she did. She's had all three. It was only before Christmas, just last Christmas, that I realised. Within
2 weeks of the third dose, then?
Oh, no. From the first dose she had in 2013.
Yeah. Why did you proceed to 2 and 3?
Ill. 2 weeks after the first vaccine.
Yeah, but I'm just curious as to why you continued with the vaccinations.
Because I have no idea that as I say, she was diagnosed with having anxiety.
Yes, okay.
There was no correlation to the vaccine.
Yeah, I know.
And then even as recently as January, actually, to be honest, I've just come from the morning in hospital with her this morning. She's had a number of tumours that have grown in the last 6 months. She's had twice been hospitalised with ovarian cysts that are excruciatingly painful. She's also on the contraceptive pill to try and regulate her menstrual cycle, which is horrendous. But she's had a large cyst on her leg, which was excruciating and took 2.5 months to clear. She couldn't put her leg down. It was so painful. She's had cysts on her head, in her brain, that have caused her horrendous headaches. And she's had a breast lump, which was very unusual for a 14-year-old child to have a breast lump. And as a result, there are very few places that will see a juvenile with breast check won't see a 14-year-old with any breast lumps. So I was this morning with a professor in the hospital who did see her, and because she's under 16, it's hard to get into a general hospital, and Temple Street don't have a facility for breast lumps.
God.
So, I mean, every issue becomes a major ordeal, and this is why the HSE should be helping us as parents and the girls themselves.
What are you saying this morning to parents with young teen girls then?
I would say, as Michael suggested, inform yourself. Know your daughter. Know whether they're strong and healthy or whether you feel that they could... if I had known any of these side effects, Neil, I would not in any way have subjected my daughter to it. I wish I could turn back the clock.
Have any of the parents you included thought about a legal challenge and fighting this in the courts?
I believe there was a case documented recently in the Irish Times and on the news of a nurse who brought a case, and it was thrown out of court because there could be no link established between the vaccine and the girl's illness.
But again, you go back to the point, like Michael, if it's not Gardasil, then tell us what it is.
Yes.
Yeah,
exactly.
Because her life really, she's literally just thrown on the bed or in the bed.
Yes. Yeah.
And has zero quality of life, really, at an age when she should be full of excitement and,
yeah, it's heartbreaking. It's totally devastating. And only that she has such wonderful friends and social media in certain cases can be a lifeline. So, in that sense, it's great because she can communicate with all her friends and classmates, and where she misses out on all the social.
Okay, let me just go through these. You can say yes or no. Persistent headaches and sore throat.
Yes.
Chronic fatigue syndrome.
Yes.
Muscle aches.
Yes.
Numbness of limbs.
Yes.
Pins, needles.
Occasionally.
Joint pains, chest pains.
Oh, yes.
Breathing problems.
Yes.
Racing heart and palpitations.
Yes.
Sensitivity to light or noise.
Yes.
Cold hands and feet.
Yes, definitely.
Abdominal pains.
All the time.
Skin problems and rashes.
Yes.
Memory impairment, concentration problems.
Huge.
Difficulty multitasking, taking in and retaining information.
No, she just can't do any of that.
Dizziness, fainting.
Fainting frequently.
Seizures.
She hasn't, thank goodness.
Nausea, vomiting, reflux.
Vomiting frequently.
Tendency.
I'm very often up half the night with her vomiting.
Oh my God. Tendency to self-harm, suicidal thoughts, antisocial behaviour.
In recent times, she has felt suicidal.
Does she get help for that?
I have applied for help for that, yes.
Okay. Do you talk to her about those thoughts?
Yes.
Yeah.
And we've spoken with our GP.
Well done. Menstrual problems.
Horrendous.
Difficulty regulating body temperature.
Yes.
Excessive sweating.
Yes.
Frequent urination.
Yes.
Insomnia.
She's a complete insomniac. Her whole circadian rhythm is totally knocked out, and my GP prescribed sleeping pills to help to try and put her clock back in order, and it only made her worse.
That's horrendous, Ivan. It's horrendous. Thank you for taking the call. I have other mothers to speak with.
Thank you so much for giving us an opportunity to highlight it, and I do hope that it helps other parents to really consider and evaluate before they decide
to proceed. Obliged.
Yes.
Thank you for taking the call. Cheers. Back after the break. That's Ivana describing her own 14-year-old daughter. Went through the list of possible side effects of the HPV vaccine experienced by some girls. In cases, many girls might suffer multiple ones. This is not information actually that I'm reading for you from the HSE or from Gardasil. It's information that's been put together by the likes of regret.ie. We got calls on the way after these, 1-850-104-106. You see, it is perfectly normal. There's a train of thought that says that it's perfectly normal for reports of, reactions to pour in, even for safe vaccines. But you wonder sometimes whether it's too big a price to pay for those that actually suffer the adverse reactions. And if you, for instance, have a story or an experience involving Gardasil or other vaccines that have been either given to you, or more importantly, because of what we're talking this morning, your children, then it would be good to talk to you on 1-850-104-106. Maybe not today, perhaps tomorrow, because I won't have much time left this morning. But certainly, with regards to Gardasil, if you feel that you have a daughter who perhaps is suffering and has had a real change in life and personality and illnesses or any of the things I've been talking about this morning, you should get in touch with the group regret.ie.